And we're on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the BG Transit Transportation Advisory Committee. And what I'll start the meeting with is a roll call. And as people come in throughout the meeting, we'll get their names if they weren't part of this roll call and reflect it in the minutes for the meeting. So I'll start with Jason Miller.
Present.
Shannon Fisher.
Present.
Lieutenant Mike Minghella. Melanie Stretchberry. John Zanfordino. Christy Walton. Connie Weaver. Tom Kelly. Casey Mailer. I know we've got Scott Potter with us. Is there anybody else that is with us? So, committee members, there are only 2 voting committee members. We don't really have any protocol in place. Are you comfortable being a meeting of 2 and establishing a quorum of who's present for the meeting?
That's fine with me.
Sound good to
I'm
you?
okay with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
All righty. Did someone just join us?
Yep, it's Tom Kelly.
Hi, Tom. I'll go ahead and get you on as part of. We've got 3 voting members. There's you. There's Jason Miller, Shannon Fisher. Did somebody else just join us? Thought I heard a beep.
Yes, I did. It's John Zanfordino. Hi, Tina.
Hi, John. I'm just going through the roll call, so we got you on there. And as others join, if I don't hear the beep, if someone can maybe alert me that somebody seems to have joined, I'll make sure we get them recorded. So,
Thanks, Peter.
yeah, thanks, folks. What I'll start with is our August 11, 2020 minutes. And I believe Julie sent everything out to everyone. If I could get a motion to approve, or certainly if there's any amendments that we need to discuss, whatever is the group's pleasure here.
Jason Miller, I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we've got a motion. And then do we have a second?
Tom Kelly, second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, what I'll say is all in favor, and certainly aye or yay, and then nay I'll call for a no, and then certainly we can do it that way rather than roll call each time. So all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any oppositions to this? Hearing none, then I think I just heard a beep. Did someone join us?
I accidentally hit my keyboard.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Remote meetings, right? All right. We're going to go ahead then to Scott Potter for our service provider update and review of our operations and fiscal reports.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. We've had a few passengers report that they had been positive. So then we have to go back through and see if any of our drivers had transported them and get them tested. We did have some false positives about a month ago and got them retested. They were negative. We also had a guy who was falsely bragging about the fact that he was positive, but he wasn't really. So between that and with the free rides, the free rides are very popular, as you might expect. So it's really taxing the staff. But so far we're making it happen. We've hired 3 new people just this past 2 weeks. We're definitely experiencing some burnout, and I'm concerned over the long haul how long the free rides are going to be in effect, because it's certainly not something we signed up for. But anyway, we're doing as best we can. I think I know the numbers aren't quite as good as normal in terms of trip denials and whatnot, but it just sometimes it exceeds our capacity. That's all I have.
Do we have any questions for Scott or anything related to the reports that went out? Okay, hearing nothing. I'll provide a marketing update for the third quarter of 2020. The biggest highlight is we did provide some information to the BGSU off-campus housing fair. We sent that information out in September, but I think that housing fair might be this month, but we did record it in the last quarter. The other is we had a press release go out about all of the different precautions being taken in light of the COVID pandemic. And that press release was published right away in the BG Independent, and then maybe a week later, so the next quarter, in the Sentinel. And I know the morning show made mention of the press release and the details within it. So that's the marketing report. Any questions related to that? All righty. Every 3 years, we do a marketing plan. It's a 3-year marketing plan. And what I'm presenting today actually was approved as part of the 3-year plan that was adopted in November of 2018. But I have updated the plan just to show the most recent data that we have, which was the 2019 BG Transit performance data for the year end, and the transit fare revenues for the period 2015 to 2019. Also updated is the budget, anticipated marketing budget for 2021, as well as Table 3. Annually, we project out where we believe we will be concentrating our marketing efforts. The only possible change to that I can see is we want to do an onboard surveying of passengers. We just don't know when that will occur in 2021. We've got it slated for the first quarter. It's most likely going to be in the last quarter. So that's really just an update on the marketing plan. Any questions related to that? Okay, hearing none, I'll give you a funding update. 2020, we were awarded some dollars earlier last year for 2020. One's for a replacement modified minivan, one's for a replacement for a conversion van. It'll be an accessibility van. And originally, those were at what they call a 80-20 split, meaning 80% federal funding and 20% local. And we were awarded 100% funding on the federal share piece in light of the CARES dollars that came out. And so that purchase, though, got moved into next year because they are not doing any vehicle deliveries. So when it does come next year, these two vehicles, they'll be 100% federal share, which is very good news. Our total state and federal award was $397,672. That will also, we will be reestablishing the fares in 2021. Alongside of that, we'll also have some CDBG dollars, about $33,000 that will be allocated as local match, and then City of Bowling Green will provide local match. So our total budget for next funding year is 588,562. And that does not include the vehicle purchase because we won't be spending anything for that. So, any questions? All right. Hearing none, we'll go on to, Julie had sent out some modifications to our current policy and procedure manual. What I can do is just go through each one of these, and then if there are questions, certainly we'll stop and answer any questions. Many of the changes came as a result of back in early March, before everything shut down. I attended an ADA and Title VI training that was sponsored by ODOT for transit systems. So the first one I have is a BG Transit Title VI policy statement. Our system has an annual plan for Title VI. We also have a complaint policy, but as a best practice, I think we need a policy statement. So that's the first item. Then, as part of the ADA piece, I looked at our current criminal record check language, and I've loosened it up a bit because it had noted that, you know, if you had a felony, you would be ineligible for hire. That language now has softened, so it says results could preclude. So, and also I've added some language in. ODOT requires us to get a driver's abstract, or actually the funder, or not the funder, the contractor. And then that abstract has to be checked for how many points. I think if it's, they can have no more than 6 demerit points. And that's ODOT law. So that's been recorded there.
Tina, in some instances, depending on what the points are, the insurance company will even preclude them.
Yes. And I knew that's a practice that you guys do every year anyway, which is excellent, because then those go into the files, and when they come and monitor, they will check that. But I knew that was a requirement you guys had anyway, but
Right.
It's very useful. Then the prohibited activities on the vehicles, I kind of cleaned the language up there. I think it was saying no employee will engage, and I just said no driver will engage, and that's been highlighted where I've changed that. The cell phone electronic device usage policy that we have, I've added other electronic devices, because at the time that this was created, it was only cell phones. But nowadays we have different other things like Apple Watches and iPads and so forth. So it includes that language to update that. Emergency equipment on vehicles and usage policy, that was updated. It used to just refer to flares, but the new vehicles are coming with reflective triangles instead of the flares. So that's reflected there. Again, as part of our ADA, the training that I attended, I picked up some best practices there. And the modification to our difficult passengers procedure, some of the language has been removed. And you'll see that there's strike-throughs. And then some of it has just been replaced. So rather than an unruly passenger, it's a seriously disruptive passenger. And all of that's defined within the policy. On the wheelchair and scooter transport securement, A few years ago, ODOT had every system define what a wheelchair was. And basically, that's defined by how large your ramp or your lift can accommodate. Well, now that's been replaced by a common definition of wheelchair. So now it's any 3 or more wheeled device designed for use by persons with a mobility impairment, operated manually or powered. And then we say that we will attempt to transport all wheelchairs. So that's reflective of new law. And that's been highlighted. Under our employee training requirements for the drivers, I cleaned up, I think I had pass and pat. Some of the language in there wasn't reflective of the actual training name, so that got cleaned up and it's highlighted. For our no-show policy, again, after attending that ADA training, a few years ago, ODOT had required us to develop a policy. We developed one in conjunction with their support. Now it's now antiquated. We used to just say if you had 4 no-shows within a month, then you were going to get a letter. That now is reflective of a percentage of missed rides. So, and that again is an ADA friendlier concept. We also have in the new policy provision that allows for circumstances beyond the rider's control. So, and I did run this and all of the other policies past ODOT. Oh, I've got one more. Disciplinary action suspension appeal process. I've cleaned up where we talked about a common wheelchair. That's no longer the case. It's just a wheelchair. And also cleaned up some of the language in here to remove like foul, obscene language on board the van as being something that we would correct somebody for. I think that's pretty much it on the policies. Like I said, I did work with an individual at ODOT that's in their technical support area, and the amendments met favorably. So if we have any questions, I'm willing to answer those. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So Tina, since you've worked along with ODOT, is there an additional review by ODOT, or is it pretty much approved by ODOT at this point?
Well, what they did was just issue an email back to me saying, hey, these look good to us. And, you know, we gave it review. We don't see any concerns with anything. And then what happens here is you folks, since you make the improvements of policies and procedures, then to make it, you know, adopted formally, it would be the TAC that would do that.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jason Miller, I move to approve the amendments as presented.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Second,
Was
John Zampino.
Okay, thanks, John. Thought that was you. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Do we have any opposition? Okay. Did somebody else join us? I thought I heard a buzz. Nope. Okay. All right. The Vehicle Safety Program Manual amendments, those were provided to you as well. And what this basically does is it's kind of cleaning up some of the language and reflecting some of the things that were changed by the policies that were just amended. So for example, the felony conviction piece and the some of the training that the name of the training had changed or different things like that over the years. So, any questions about any of these? If we have no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the amendments to the Vehicle Safety Program Manual.
Jason Miller, move to approve.
Thank you.
Second, Tom Kelly.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And do we have anybody opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Before we go any further, I just want to make sure. Did anyone else join us? I've got Jason, Shannon, John, Tom, and Scott. I know you're on the call as well.
Yeah.
Is there anyone I missed? Okay, so there is a schedule for 2021 that Julie had provided in one of the emails to you. And one thing I do want to make note of, every year our February meeting gets bumped up a week. And that's because I have a conflict on my schedule because of, on that third Tuesday, because of President's Day. So that date is provided, and also notes on there it's a different week due to President's Day. Do we have anything else before we go on to our next meeting for the good of the whole? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is John. I move to adjourn.
Okay.
This is Shannon, I second.
Thanks, Shannon and John. All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay, so we are adjourned from that meeting. We'll do our quick vehicle accident prevention subcommittee meeting. I'm going to assume nobody joined us in this last couple of minutes. Okay, we have our August 11 meeting minutes. If I could get a motion to approve from someone for those minutes.
This is Shannon, I move to approve.
Thanks, Shannon.
Jason Miller, second.
Thanks, Jason. Do we have any discussion? Is there anything of concern or amendments or anything? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving these minutes, say aye.
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 Is there any opposition? Okay, hearing none, those minutes are passed. And then, Scott, if you can provide the accident incident report, please.
Sure. We got in an accident in August with Van 6, and it took the insurance company forever to determine whether it was repairable for what it was insured for, and the outcome was that it was not. So we're still getting it fixed. I think it's around 16 grand, and I believe the insurance was what, Tina, 6,700 or something like that?
I don't remember.
So-
Yeah, I'm thinking it was
Yeah,
80
so-
something, 8,500.
Well,
I don't know.
they took a couple deductibles out or something anyway. So
Okay.
I've got a pony of about 10 grand to get it fixed. It's being fixed as we speak. So fortunately, that was the only accident. There were didn't have any injuries with it, but we were cited. In terms of the training, unless anyone has any questions about the accident. No? Okay. The trainings are listed on one of the pages here. Everyone is up to date with the first aid CPR, and we have a new driver that's up to date with her training as well. That all took place in July and August.
All right. And then we've also got the summary of maintenance performed for each vehicle.
Right.
Yep. And I think everybody
And that-
kind of knows the drill
yeah.
on that. That's one of those things that ODOT prescribes, a preventative maintenance schedule, and we adhere to it. So every so many miles, those vans are going in to get certain things done to them.
Yes, it's been a really very good relationship with those guys and Kevin.
Oh, yes, out at the garage, our Public Works garage does provide that maintenance. And yes, it seems like it's a good working relationship.
Yep. No animosity, no acrimony. It's been real nice.
Good, good. Do we have anything else for the good of the whole? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is John. I move that we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Is that you, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right, and I got John. Thanks, John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No oppositions, I'm assuming. Everyone, thank you so much for your time today, and I will talk to everybody. If not before then, we'll meet again in February. Thank you, folks.
Thanks. Take care.
Have a good day.
Take care.
You, bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.